Well, 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 what have we here? A wee wanderer wandering after a wonderful wishing well? I'm Walter Wellington McWishingwell. Well met. Won't you call me Wally, though? It was that my brother William, why he was a winsome well, would hand out wishes with me, but he's since been whisked off to somewhere wild and wintry, and poor Wally's been left to whinge and wax all by his onesie. Oh, my poor wayward William. He was snatched away by the wicked Winter King and whisked into a wild world of whirling snow. I wonder, would you be willing to take a whack at bringing Willie back? I would weep wishes for weeks if I could see him again. I can teleport you to the Winterland right now. Well, you know where to find me when you wish to go. Would that I could, but without my dear brother, I'm a woeful wisp of my former wonderment. We work in tandem, you see, and Willie's always been stronger. He might manage to work alone, but I'm a weakling without him with me. Give Willie my regards. Send him my good wishes. Now wave bye-bye. Two wells, brothers, allies, friends, wilfully wrenched apart by a wicked wretch. I admit it with a weighty heart. I am weary. I am worried. I, William Wellington McWishingwell, am not well at all. I was snatched by the wild and wicked Winter King, Boreas the wretch, and whisked into this prison. It was a wish he wanted, and a wish I had to grant. But I'm weary of thinking of the hows and whos and whys. There's no way to escape my fate now. Heimerheim, of course, the winter realm of the land of Fairy. At which winter world have you been weekending, if not Heimerheim? Oh, how I wish there were, dear wanderer. This woeful abode is sealed fast and can only be opened from without. Were there another entrance into this winterland, however, you might be able to help. Wherever your wanderings may take you, remember, if you find a new way into the winterland, don't forget your friend, Willie. The wily Winter King used a wicked scroll to steal me. Perhaps if you found that scroll, you could use it to whirl me home to Wally. I believe he'll keep it among his other valuables, to wit, the treasure room. Oh, my Wily, oh Wally, what a wonderful well is he! Won't you give him my regards when you see him? In fact, would you like me to whisk you to him now? Wally's always within reach when you're with Willie. Would that I could whoosh after him myself. Well, as you wish. Would that I could whoosh after him myself. Very well, off you go.
Look out! I see a trap nearby. Careful, I've spotted a trap.
Judged by a panel of stone-faced gods. In Riverlands, we are our own judges. This ghostly form is the finest blessing we could hope for. The sights, the sounds, the chaos! Ah, who'd give all this up for oblivion?
There's something to it.
Who wants to be judged by a panel of stone-faced gods?
Strange indeed.
I am on the trail, Source Hunter.
form is the finest blessing we... A mortal! Aha, well, surely I don't have to tell you how much better a life, or death, here in Rivellon is compared to a dreadful eternity in the Hall of Echoes. Beats me. We're hardly the only Sicilians lost at sea, but there's some strange magic afoot of late. The dead can't seem to stay that way. We were all aboard a ship, headed from Arata to fair Sicile. But upon our return, the lighthouse failed to shine its light. We were lost upon the rocks and flung far and wide upon the tempestuous waves. The name's Ebenezer. Pleased to make your acquaintance. You've probably been meeting some sad souls around here, but I sure as hell ain't one of them. In life, my interests were soft weathers, southern vintages, sun-ripened afternoons, and ample-fleshed companions. Each sense was a source of new and familiar pleasures, and I luxuriated in them all. As a ghost, I admit that many of those pleasures evade me, but Rivellon still smacks of life more than the Hall of Echoes could. Though half the fun of fun is sharing your exploits with an eager ear, you know? Oh, what I'd give to find my little buddy again. The best listener I ever had the pleasure of regaling. The final resting place for those deemed worthy of paradise. Paradise after life? Ha! Look around. Paradise is opening your eyes. Or in my case, gazing through the ectoplasm and seeing the wide, wild world around you. Can you imagine anything worse than being stuffed up into oblivion with the rest of the dead? Ah, give me tragedy, chaos, beauty, and delight. My companions would do well to stop pining and start enjoying, no? The ship that sunk and turned us all into phantoms, she was home to a sweet old tomcat, Oscar by name, who'd curl up cozy as can be on my pillow. We shared many stormy nights while I scratched his little chin and whispered stories of my youthful exploits. But I reckon cats don't stay on as ghosts after they pass, 'cause the little furball is nowhere to be seen. That, or the lucky bastard managed to survive the wreck. He was a scrappy old fellow after all.
Come to listen to Ebenezer expound upon the virtues of fine wine and free love? They don't elucidate, but they certainly do entertain. I tend to avoid thinking of the life I used to lead. The life of a traveller, a sailor, a free spirit. Those memories would break my heart, if the heart I still had. For some reason, he insists he doesn't want to go to the Hall of Echoes, to the afterlife. He claims we weren't cursed, but blessed to roam Rivellon forever. Most of us feel sorry for the poor fellow. When we arrive, it'll be to the open arms of all our deceased friends and family. Can't think of a grander event myself.
Who would give all this up for oblivion?
Come to listen to Ebenezer expound upon the virtues of fine wine and free love. Oh, if only I could sail the sea again. The sea and the thrill of life. For some reason, he insists he doesn't want to go to the Hall of Echoes, to the afterlife. He claims we weren't cursed, but blessed to roam Rivellon forever. Most of us feel sorry for the poor fella. Yes, the realm of the dead. If not for this curse, we'd have been there for more than a decade by now.
Try to enter the church. The statues that flank its heavy oaken doors address you.
Hold your horses, stranger. This holy hall may be entered by those who are loyal to the goddess only. And even eyes of stone can see you are no such creature. Ha! Who are those loyal to the goddess, it asks. They are those who have seen the powers of blood, ignorant one. They partake in the knowledge of old. Blood is life. Blood undoes death. Such is the wisdom you cannot even conceive. It is a wish we cannot grant unless you prove you have knowledge of the goddess. Answer us therefore the following question. How is she known among the loyal, the exalted one, she who speaks for the goddess?
You try to enter the church. The statues that flank its heavy oaken doors address you.
Hold your horses, stranger. This holy hall may be entered by those who are loyal to the goddess only. And even eyes of stone can see you are no such creature. Ha! Who are those loyal to the goddess, it asks. They are those who have seen the powers of blood, ignorant one. They partake in the knowledge of old. Blood is life. Blood undoes death. Such is the wisdom you cannot even conceive. It is a wish we cannot grant unless you prove you have knowledge of the goddess. Answer us therefore the following question. How is she known among the loyal, the exalted one, she who speaks for the goddess? You flatter with a serpent's tongue, and we shall not be deceived. Now stone will break your bones.
A dance to the death, and my steps the daintier. Hobbling assault! Battering ram!
Ah, Source Hunter. Have you come to lend your blood to our cause? How much simpler all this would be if only it was so. Still, I cannot blame you for struggling against me. What reason have you to trust me that your efforts are misplaced? But now, with Brachus Rex nearly risen, there's little more you can do to hinder me. Perhaps for the better. When we first met on the beaches of Sicil, I underestimated you. That blunder has cost me dearly. Still, after all, you need not know more than this. The end is coming. The end of sorrow. The end of pain. Those who oppose me oppose peace itself. And here I thought you'd seen it yourself. Tell me, what is the imp historian doing, if not begging you to divert the void? So, you're familiar after all. You know as well as I that the void is coming. In fact, if I am very precise, it's already here. But you need not be afraid. The void is ourselves. We are destined to rejoin it. I have chosen a dark and dangerous path, but I vow that those sacrificed have not suffered in vain. My only wish for all of Revellon is the soft hush of silence. Brachus Rex was the forefather of our cause, the original Immaculate. His resurrection brings Revellon one step closer to the ultimate solution: dissolution. Wouldn't you like to meet him? The sorcerer your order was formed to destroy. I'm certain he'd love nothing more than to meet you. Follow me. Find out.
Not so fast! The altar won't budge.
There simply has to be some kind of mechanism that operates it.
A hidden switch. Perhaps it has something to do with opening that hatch. A switch much like the first. Could there be more? 3 down, but how many to go? What was that? I heard the sound of scraping in the main hall. Strange magic here. How will we deactivate it?
That cultist must have used some kind of key or spell to get through.
The Immaculate Amulet fits perfectly inside.
Malia. Precious Malia. I'm a fool. Please. You must stop him. Source Hunter. By the health of the Seven, you're here. There may yet be hope. Perhaps you remember me as a healer. But gods, what a herald of death I've become. I'm beyond redemption now. But you You alone may save Sicile, may save all of Rivellon from the horror I've summoned. King Brachus. Brachus Rex from the tales of old. He lives. The mad Source King, the Lord of Chaos. I have awakened him. I've done a terrible thing. I've raised a mad king from beyond the grave. I imagined so very foolishly that I'd be able to extract an ancient secret from him. But with a simple flash of his arcane magic, I was finished. I'll tell you all I know, Source Hunter. Resurrected, revived. The king lives, but not as the man he once was. He retains the mark of death upon him, like a festering wound. The last of the mad Source Kings he was. The tyrant who nearly condemned Rivellon to oblivion. He began the War of Wars, marching brother against friend, until every land and home burned with death. It was during this dark time that your order, the Source Hunters, was formed. Brachus was defeated, and Source outlawed from the land. Brachus was a dangerous monster, but he achieved things no man or mortal could have dreamt of. He alone is said to have known a great secret, how to break the Forge of Souls. I promised to extract this secret for a woman calling herself the Conduit. In exchange, she vowed to reveal to me a certain power of her own. In hindsight, I see that I dealt with the devil, and I've received my damnation. I was given a great stone, a bloodstone, but more charged with life than any I'd seen before. The Conduit said it would imbue Brachus with life enough to share the secret she craved. But what he has begun, his powers have all returned, and I cannot stop him. My failures are so many. I can hide them no longer. In my pursuit of the Source King, I've called forth abominations that neither I nor any other can destroy. The ghoul that guards the lighthouse, the Baron of Bones, the twins by fire joined. Their ghastly faces haunt me, and they in turn have rifled through the graves and sarcophagi of Sicile in search of undead minions. Undead, Source Hunter, unkillable. I fear this plague may never end, no matter how many times the rotten dead are defeated. Curse her name, her hell-sent promises. She claims to be a link between her goddess and the world of men. I never believed her divine claims, but I could not deny her great power. It was she who showed me that Bloodstone could be used for more than healing. Her stones, particularly powerful and potent, could raise the dead. What could turn any soft soul towards wickedness? My weakness was love, and it was love that she promised me. The Conduit had shown me how to raise skeletons and zombies from their graves. But what I craved was something far more rare. A second life. A true second life for my wife, Malia. She was a beautiful soul, snatched from the world of the living far before her time. Now the Conduit's promise seemed simple. A secret for a secret. I'd tell her how to break the Soul Forge, and she'd tell me how to bring Malia back. You can defeat the unholiness I've raised, Source Hunter. You can save the countless innocents that will perish under the Source King's mad fist. I pray... No, I believe you can reverse my failures.
So Theliron believed that by unleashing these monsters, he'd learned the secret to resurrecting his beloved wife.
Only a true devil would cause such destruction for a bit of fancy necromancy.
A devil? I'd wager many in Theliron's position would do the same. There is no reasoning with a heartsick soul.
Sigils of terror and torment will blight the land. Hear now, one who comes to watch the spectacle, to see the sovereign of the source ascend again. Or perhaps you are the first in a long new line, the first that will try to stop my dominion again. Oh, by the emerald eyes of the goddess, would you believe that I can still feel it ever so vaguely? The force of the stab that cleft my heart and sent my soul shivering into death. But my followers have done it. They have done it like I knew they would. Blood, the thick red gravy, the source of souls, has been yielded unto star-sent stones and has swept away the eternal shadows. How long has it been, I wonder, my first repose in death? An hour? The time it takes the seas to tear down cliffs. It is of no matter. I live, and I shall claim my throne anew. A fable I may have become as time dragged on, but a fact I am once more, little one. Don't you, don't all of you miserable mortals realize that they who are one with Source have thrown off the burdensome mantle of death forever? I embraced Source. I drank it, made it part of my blood and my being. And so a warlord became a sorcerer, and a sorcerer became a king. The fools of this world dubbed me a tyrant, for the gods convinced them I was such, fearful as they were of my rise and power. Armies amassed, too many. Scores I slew, too few. Death took me, too soon, but not for all time. Ha! Not a thing. There was a woman once that went by that name, until I mangled her body into that of a lich. Oh, my sister dearest, Cassandra, and her man-cat. Mere pets of mine, the both of them, tools to bruise and break as I saw fit. They bled so very beautifully. The reason for my resurrection, O simplest of spirits, is that I was destined to be. Were it not for the vainglorious fools that raised me now, it would have been another, perhaps wiser being that would have done so in time. And time is of no matter, only to be eternally. A woman seeks my secret, for her soul is entwined with another's, yes. Where once they were inseparable, now they have grown apart in purpose and intent. But my secrets are mine to keep. Perhaps when she lies shivering before me, pledging alliance to her king, I will break her forge before I break her. A source hunter. So you are, though you are so much more, and do not even know it. No matter,
They still smelled like you do, by the by, your brother and sister hunters, as they closed in around me that first time. Fear. That most sly, most intangible of scents. Drowned out soon afterward by the acid stench of urine. I had but to look at them, and they rusted their chainmail where they stood. I undid so manifold they had to wade through the gore of the fallen. Oh, what a feast, what fountains of gravy we had. Alas, that there were too many, as there clearly are too many of you still. Although, life renewed has made me rather peckish. And from the looks of you, you need but the slightest of squeezes to make squirt the sauce's sauce from your soft, fleshy shell. Yes, look at you, plump as a leech bulging with freshly sucked blood. Oh, I do believe, as my servants would say as they brought in a squirming, plump girl on a plate, that dinner is served. Stand by.
Into the fray once more. I can smell your fear.
A stitch in time, eh, friends?
I feel like I've just had a long bath in a cold lake.
Your enemies are my prey, Source Hunter. The last drop. May your sight become as dark as your heart. As good as a new penny.
Hot like salt.
think I'll go for the eyes this time.
Warm as dragon's breath! And that is the final end of Brachus Rex. May his soul remain in the depths of hell for good.
Sweet relief.
It is strange, Source Hunter. I have heard many tales of Brachus Rex, the radiant ruler, and King Brachus, boon of our blighted land. How can it be that the stories sang him a hero when he was in fact an evil tyrant? I suppose a song of our world would be quite different if it were written in summer or in winter. Strange, is it not? How your summer or mine goes unmarked, but that of a king, even a winter one, is sung for a century after his death.
Source Hunter, is it safe? Have you done it? Please tell me that you have sent Brachus Rex to the grave once and for all. Magnificent. Oh, truly wondrous. I feel like a prisoner set free, free to bask in the daylight once more. I was so fearful, petrified almost in the knowledge that I might see him again. You see, I knew the Mad King. In fact, I served him. I'm a wizard hunter, and that means I've seen many centuries pass me by. They weren't always happy ones, and you may take that as an understatement. I was once under Brachus's thrall, bound to him by perfidious magic. Life was an endless cycle of servitude, torture, and humiliation. Only after the first Source Hunters skewered him like the pig he was did my nightmare end. As you can imagine, I was afraid beyond all measure that the fiend would enslave us all once more. That I'd be cast back into the rank pit that was my past. But he hasn't, and he never will. Thank you. I will never forget this act of valor. So you have heard of her? Yes, I knew Cassandra. She was a sweet girl when we met. Hardly a woman yet. The very opposite of her deranged brother, who did not hesitate to butcher her for his own benefit. We were fast friends in those days. Aye, more than friends. Until he took her down to the dungeons, and she returned a woman no longer. A twisted lich had she become, with a twisted mind to match her grisly new shape. he remorselessly and relentlessly sought ways to cheat death. Cassandra and he were soul-forged, so he knew that if she would die, he would die. And so he turned her into a lich. Turned her into a creature neither living nor dead, so that he could break the soul forge without destroying himself in the process. Giving the matter no further thought, he rid his sister of her humanity, so as to rid himself of a spell that could threaten him. Such a man was Brachus Rex. Immortal in his mind and immortal to be in effect. As your swords and spells have demonstrated, though, to this world's everlasting contentment, his deranged fancy was not to be. I don't know. When the Source Hunters besieged Brachus's castle, I sought only to escape. I never heard of her again. Yes, I longed for freedom, for release. When I saw my chance, I ran and never looked back. You have foiled one of Leandra's vile designs, that much is certain. But I highly doubt you forestalled her endgame, whatever that may be. It is therefore imperative that we find her sister Ikara. As you've learned from the accursed duo that was Jake and Evelyn, the White Witch is somehow involved. I will vouch for her gentle nature, but alas, I cannot vouch for her current state of mind. Has she been corrupted by her sister, perhaps? Or have they become enemies locked in a murderous game of cat and mouse? There's no way of knowing until you find her. What I do know is that she lives in a cabin deep in Lacula Forest to the north. If anywhere, that is where I advise your travels should take you next. Very well, Hunter. My gratitude is yours, as is my service.
That's it. Brachus Rex is dead. The way he spoke about our forebears was horrific. I wonder how many Source Hunters had to die before the Source King was deposed.
Even if it was one, it was too many. My heart shrivels in my chest when I think of the lust in his voice as he recalled his crimes.
Every inch of this Source cult that we unravel is an inch of justice for those killed. Damn Brachus and all his breed. Damn them straight to hell.